A study by the UP National College of Public Administration and Governance has uncovered massive irregularities in flood control projects. The report, titled Ghost Hunting, used artificial intelligence and geospatial analysis to scan nearly 10,000 DPWH projects, revealing that only 9.4% showed no signs of anomaly. The rest were flagged as possibly ghost, chop, or doppelganger projects, some even built in areas with low flood risk. The study highlights weaknesses in procurement, oversight, and public accountability, and calls for an AI-enabled audit, open data systems, and greater civic participation to prevent future corruption. And joining us today, we have Dr. Kristoffer Berse, Dean of the UP National College of Public Administration and Governance. Good morning and welcome to the program. Dr. Kristoffer Berse, sorry.
Good morning, Gretchen.
Magandang umaga sa'yo. Okay, unang-una, no, tell us all about how this study was conducted. Did you do this via satellite images purely, and how did you get to the findings?
Well, this one doesn't really involve satellite imaging because for one, we know that many of the projects are cannot be seen from above. But what we did was we of course started with the some of the initial findings from the ongoing investigations. Like for example, Senator Lacson said na maybe there are projects even from the beginning, and the other investigations, Sec Vins, they were saying that there are ghost projects. There are projects with similar costs, projects that are located in some areas that may have no flood problems, and so we built on that, and then we tried to look at our regulations when it comes to procurement, when it comes to bidding, the implementation of projects, for instance, how long should it be, the whole process of implementing or managing an infrastructure project. And then we feed all of these guidelines, the legal regulations, and also the initial findings of the investigations, feed it into a system to tell us, to guide us, which among the projects would meet certain conditions. And so based on that, that's how we were able to get the results. Identifying which projects are potentially ghost or potentially a what we call as doppelganger or chop projects and so on.
Okay, so but how were you able to get to the conclusion na potentially ghost siya without going to the site?
For one, we look at the contracts. We look at the implementation period, for instance, because it's kind of difficult to determine if it's ghost or not if without going to the site. That's why in our report we're saying potentially ghost. Potentially ghost because it's subject to validation on site. We look at primarily at the dates of the start date and the implementation date. For instance, if it's just very short, let's say less than 30 days, I mean there are projects reported to be finished in less than 30 days. So that's already kind of anomalous, and most likely, especially if it's handled by contractors with multiple projects, then most likely that's questionable. Or if the project is completed less than 75% of its total contract days, then we and it's handled again by suspicious contractors, then we thought we tagged it as something as potentially anomalous or a ghost, most likely.
So kung wari, parang this is a good starting point for those who want to explore ghost projects. But you are reporting that only about 9.4% of projects had no red flags. So that's still about 91?
Yes.
91.6 or 90.6% of projects to explore here. So gaano kadami yun?
Yes. Well, we have to remember that when we say, remember, we found out five 5 red flags, no? And the ghost projects is just one of them, no? The other is the chop chop, what we call as chop chop, no? These are projects that are divided into certain phases, multiple packages. While they're not technically wrong, I mean, they're not technically illegal, uh, it still should raise some red flags on why they were chopped into certain phases, right? So we have chop chop projects, we have doppelganger projects. Basically, these are
Mm-mm.
the projects that share the same contract cost, even if they're located in different sites and different
Mm. Mm-mm.
and then we have also the what we call a sham sham projects. There are projects that have taken forever to complete.
Mm-mm.
Three more than 3 years at least. And then
Mm-mm.
we have also projects that are what we call as kamote projects kasi mapapakamot ka na lang sa ulo because we look at NOAA data also and see the location of the projects. If the projects are located in areas that are uh, plo- prone to hazards or not, and we found out that there are some projects that are located in areas that are not prone to hazards. But then
Mm-mm.
again, these are potential irregularities, so they have to be validated on site. That's what basically we're
Mm,
saying.
yun yung iba-ibang terms nyo, no? Pero
Yes.
yung 9.4%, that goes with a total of what? What's
Um,
the total of
that's
flood control projects?
that's 90. Let me just check to be sure. Uh, that's about because the total of the that's about more than 9,000 actually. I don't know.
9,000?
About 8,000. About 8,000 plus. 8,000 plus.
8,000 plus?
Yes. Out of the
Oo.
9,826.
So, 700, mga 700 plus lamang, 750 plus lamang yung yung no red flags. Ang dami pa rin.
No,
Oo.
around 900. 923. Yeah, that's yeah.
923. So more
Ang
than
walang red flag.
8,000 projects. Oo.
Ang walang red
Okay.
flags. Yeah.
So
Yes.
where should people begin? Where should government begin in investigating this? Meron ba kayo yung parang grade dyan na sobrang daming red flags? And you have a chart na parang marami pa yung may kulay red, mas dark red. Help us understand that.
Yes, I think you're referring maybe to the scatter plot, no? The whole well, we tried to look at which district offices really have we're trying to see which district offices have lesser red flags, no? And or conversely, which ones have really heavy red flag. And we found out that uh, many of those DEOs with relatively lower red flags are the DEOs with lesser number of projects, no? We, so, karamihan ng mga halimbawa malalaking DOs natin, let's say yung Metro Manila, District A
Mm-mm.
offices, or yung sa Bulacan, syempre, no? They handle more than 100 projects over the course of the year, from 2018 to 2025. And mostly, many of their projects were tagged as red flags. No? Um, we found out even 30 DOs, district engineering offices with no red flags, with no green flags at all, meaning all of the projects were potentially yeah, questionable. So we have those cases, yeah.
And what were your other findings apart from that? The smaller ones had more green flag projects, the bigger ones had more red flag projects. What were your other findings apart from that?
Well, we found out that I think one of the more important ones really is there are projects in areas that do not have high flood hazards, no? Meaning they're not that prone to floods. No? Uh, I think because for us, it's important that when we start planning, no, as a way of prevention na rin, is that when we start planning especially for flood control projects, they have to be based on a scientific assessment of the hazard. And if we do scientific assessment, we should know that if a certain area uh, doesn't have high flood susceptibility, then maybe there should be we should have a better use of our resources. So I think that's one important also finding, to be more science-based in our approach when it comes to identifying flood control projects, not just
Katulad po
at
saan?
the
Katulad po saan? Ano po yung mga
well,
area po na yun?
we found, for instance, we have, based on the data, we found out that maybe there are around 90 plus projects in Metro Manila that may not be that may be located in areas that are not uh, that do not have high hazard susceptibility. At least that's what's based on the NOAA maps, where we use the Project NOAA maps. But then again, this is something that needs to be validated. The people, because even if, let's say, for instance, from uh, let's say from the based on the NOAA maps, maybe the area may not be tagged as having high flood hazards, but in reality, because of over the years, let's say due to clogged drainage or other problems, the community might be facing, after all, serious flooding, over the years. So that's why we're saying is that there still needs to be validated. Uh, but what we're trying to say is that we hope the study will help point out possible areas, or maybe help in the planning of where we should look into. For instance, there's of course uh, heavy red flags in certain central Luzon, in northern Luzon also, and as well as in parts of Mindanao. So maybe that can help in terms of, at least in terms of planning or looking into uh, or prioritizing which areas to investigate. Yeah.
Kung kinakailangan nga ba itong mga mga flood
Yes,
control
yes,
contracts na
yes.
ito. What other
Oo.
data sets did you use apart from the NOAA hazard maps?
Well, we use the data from the Sumbong sa Pangulo website. Uh, we also look at the data of yung website from the contractors. There's a website there that lists down the different contractors. We look at the DPWH data also provided, and yeah, basically, and then the news reports, no, because we wanted to use, we referred to the
Oo.
news reports also to validate, no, whether the AI did the right tagging, more or less.
Oo, sabi kasi sa amin ng Budget Watch Coalition or Public Watch Coalition na they're seeing the website is only tracking about 50% of the total budget that was allotted for flood control between the years of 2018 to 2025. So kulang pa yung datos,
Yes,
no, na
yes,
nakalagay dun sa sumbong sa Pangulo. Tama ba? Are you also seeing the
yes.
same thing?
Even the 2025 data is partial. It's not for the whole year. No, they have only, I think the first quarter lang nandun.
Pero
So
yung data po ninyo, mostly po yan galing dun sa sumbong sa Pangulo website.
yes, the
On,
9,800. We use it as, because that's the official, publicly available data. Yeah.
okay, how did you use AI in analyzing this? I mean, did you create your own platform for that?
Well, we created our own. We have a programmer who is familiar with AI design, and then we fed it with information, including the information about the projects, uh, all the data sets, and then we fed also we also indicated the parameters in terms of what to look for. Let's say, for example, when it comes to ghost projects, we told the machine to look for, or the system to look for, projects that are of short duration, especially projects that are being handled by uh, contractors with heavy load, and so on. No, basically it's really that, we did that, and then to visualize it, we combine it with GIS tools to see, to give us a better picture of where things are.
Oo. Ay, yung Google Maps hindi niyo po nagamit dito? Kasi hindi ba parang in real time din yung kanilang data?
We
Or hindi?
tried looking at,
Oo.
as a sort of verification. We tried using Google Earth, for instance, just to check of if this site is indeed existing or not. For instance, we found out there's some never ending or sham sham projects in Occidental Mindoro. There's I think there are four that has taken like more than 3 years or so, no, 3 or 4 projects. So we try to check at least via Google Earth if there's a structure there, just to see if it's complete or not. And we couldn't find uh, the the said structure, so we tried to use it as a kind of to validate. But then again, like I said, the Google Earth or the remote validation using Google Maps or Google Earth is kind of limited because some of the projects that are related to flood control are really invisible because they're buried underground. Like, say, for example, the drainage system and so on.
Ah, you're right. You're right. So, hindi
Yeah,
naman po lahat
yeah.
makikita talaga.
Or sometimes
Kaya,
maybe they can be covered by tree covers, so hindi rin siya na-detect. Yeah.
okay. Now, this has been done for flood control. Are you also planning to do this for other infrastructure projects?
Uh, well, siguro not yet, no. But part of our plan really is to continue with developing using AI, no, to detect not just infrastructure anomalies, but to help also improve our governance systems. And yeah, definitely we'll keep on working on different aspects, not just the DPWH issue, but on any other aspects of governance.
Oo. And then, another thing, no? Dun po sa mga datos na inilagay po ninyo, did you have eyesight over contracts and progress reports?
We're limited by what's made available online. Um, in fact, we also observed that some of the reports were maybe typographical errors in the entry of data, because we observed, for instance, that the the s- let's say, for example, the start date and the end date of a project. The start date would be the end date would happen earlier than the start date. So that we have those kind of problems in the data. So the model is actually as good only as the data provides. So maybe if there's better data, we can make a better, more nuanced kind of analysis. But yeah, we're limited by what's available online.
Okay, are you passing this data on to the DPWH? Have you contacted the secretary to be able to give
Yes.
them your findings?
Yes, we have contacted. We have sent officially to the office of the secretary our findings. Actually,
Oo.
we sent. They were the first one to receive the report.
Oh, ano po ang kanilang
In-
response, tugon po sa inyo?
Well, we just sent yesterday, so I think I mean Sec
Nire-review
Vince has
pa?
been receptive. Our previous study, he looked into it, so we hope that and we're positive, we're optimistic that he would look also into it with open eyes.
I guess the final question I have for you is what reforms do you think that we can do based on the data that you've already collected? What reforms
Well,
would you like to see?
For one, maybe in the ongoing investigation, at least uh, be more strategic about the investigation, maybe. No? In terms of reform, of course, we're really pushing for the use of a more or less an automated system, no, AI enabled. In terms of monitoring, not just the implementation of an ongoing project or the completion of a project, but even from the budget preparation, so that moving forward, at the budget stage pa lang, we can already detect if there's some anomalous or potentially anomalous entries. No? So we hope we can have that. I think there's some movements even from different parts of the government, from the legislative side and the executive side, to look into how we can use technology to improve our system. So we hope this could contribute to that. And I think the other thing, of course, is people's participation, because the machine can only see what it is given. The system can only see, the AI system the model can only see what it is fed with, but ultimately its findings have to be validated by people. Yeah, so it has to be validated on site, and for that we need the cooperation, I think, also of the people their participation in terms of um, on-site validation, no? Because the DPWH certainly could not do all of these things at once. But once maybe our people, let's say different groups, citizens, church groups, or any kind of youth groups who would want to help, maybe help
Correct.
validate this.
And where do they submit their observations if they want to contribute to
Um,
this?
maybe we're trying to form also a network, and there are many organizations actually that have been formed nowadays that are doing independently or together doing citizens participatory audit,
Correct.
or yeah,
Si
and that
Better
is
Gov
also,
PH, meron na siyang
yeah,
platform.
yeah, I
Oo.
think doon they can feed into that, no. We're still trying to see if we would be needed in that regard, no. We'll try to do our share in terms of monitoring if we're needed, but otherwise there are many groups already doing the on-site validation, and we just hope that maybe they could refer to the results and to help them, plan their strategy in terms of checking and ultimately validating also the results.
And these are significant findings. But they're very specific. If you go to the Facebook page of UPNCPAG, you'll be able to see that for one, as much as 30% are potentially ghost projects. That's 2,934 out of 9,826. 64% are suspiciously divided into multiple packages or flood control projects detected as fragmented or duplicated. That's 6,000 out of 9,000. At meron ka pa kayong na-identify na mga lugar, no, katulad na lamang sa La Union, sa Quezon
Yeah.
City with multiple insertions. And more than half of projects, or 55%, have suspiciously similar contract cost, 5,000 out of 9,000. Ang mas mahirap po yata dito ay saan magsisimula, no? Dahil napakalawak po
Yeah. Yeah.
nang nangyayari, no? Lalong-lalo na pagdating dito sa sa flood control, and we hope to have more citizens participation here, and this is a whole of nation effort cracking down on corruption. In the meantime, maraming salamat po, we hope those who would like to contribute to the conversation could message the UPNC PAG, and great work on your end. We hope to see more from your group. Sana ipagpatuloy niya pa po ito at talagang ma-incorporate na sa ating governance. We have Dr. Kristoffer Berse, Dean of the UP National College of Public Administration and Governance, joining us and telling us all about ghost hunting.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you, everyone.